Hello, I'm Akash Maharaj, Head of Policy for Nature Canada. I have accepted an invitation from Canada's Environment Minister to advise the federal government on the trade agreement between Canada and the European Union. And I am recording this video to convey to Nature Canada's members how this new role will complement our mission to protect endangered species, habitats, and nature itself. To begin with, there is no denying that one of the dominant public policy issues now facing our country is how to respond to the US tariff war against Canada. The American tariffs are an act of monumental self-harm, which risk impoverishing both our countries and hurling everyone into a global mercantile war of all against all. To protect both our democratic and economic sovereignty, Canada must, obviously, diversify our international trade relationships to dilute the influence that any one state can wield over us. In doing so, I believe we should preferentially expand trade with states that share our broad national ideals, respecting human rights and freedoms, upholding the rule of law, and caring for nature. If we do, trade can be a race to the top, driving higher human well-being, higher ecological flourishing, and higher prosperity. If we instead allow ourselves to become captive to agreements with states that scorn our ideals, trade can only become a race to the bottom, pressuring us to match those states' lower working and environmental standards and to accept lower living standards for our people. For this reason, I am enthusiastic about the trade agreement between Canada and Europe, the awkwardly named Canada-European Union Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, or CETA. Modern treaties are not poetic. CETA creates an international framework for free and fair trade between Canada and Europe. Embedded in the agreement, in Chapter 24, is a legal responsibility for both Canada and Europe to maintain our environmental standards. The treaty prohibits states from attempting to give industrial actors unjust price advantages by allowing those actors to poison our lands and waters or to pillage the natural heritage that belongs to all our citizens. To help uphold Chapter 24, the treaty created domestic advisory groups in both Canada and Europe. I have accepted a 3-year term at the Canadian Environment Domestic Advisory Group, or CEDAG. Again, if you are looking for lyrical names, you will need to look somewhere other than trade treaties. CEDAG's mandate is to provide the Environment Minister and the Government of Canada with independent expert advice on trade and the environment. We encourage sound public policies and industrial practices. We monitor if states are meeting their obligations under Chapter 24, and we suggest remedies if states fall short. CEDAG also has a role in advancing public transparency and public accountability by serving as a window for Canadians into how the treaty is operating and as a channel for Canadians' expressions of the public will. The 10 members of CEDAG come from across Canada and have backgrounds with business and industry, diplomacy, Indigenous organizations, and environmental institutions. We are all independent volunteers, and we are not paid or otherwise compensated for our work. This means that we can be guided by experience and conscience rather than directed by partisanship or personal interest. It also, admittedly, limits how much time any of us can take away from our professions to donate our energies to CEDAG's mission. But we do what we can. We recently completed 3 days of deliberations with our opposite numbers from Europe and with officials from the Canadian and European governments. I found my colleagues thoughtful and energetic, and I feel optimistic about our work together. I know that trade agreements are the most boring aspect of international affairs. The Canada-EU trade agreement is 1,700 pages of stupefyingly dull prose. After a few hours with the text, I'm ready to put my own eyes out with red-hot flaming pokers. But this treaty is critical to nature, to human well-being, and to our sovereignty. If we can make the treaty succeed, It will increase prosperity for all Canadians and lift environmental standards across our country. If we do not, then Canada will remain vulnerable to the coercive trade policies of states that are prepared to lay waste to their own ecosystems and demand that we do the same. My colleagues on the Canadian Environment Domestic Advisory Group and I will do our best to serve our country well. Thank you.